And we are live. Thank you all for tuning in. Welcome back to Kingless Chronicle. Last time, the party went and did some small errands before making their way to the tavern to meet up with Tulio and Ophelia. They discussed what happened at the ball, discussed their next plans. They decided to begin making their way back to King's Landing proper to do a handful of things. So, to pick up from then, so y'all ended up resting at the inn here, essentially, and I'd say it's about early morning. You get to sleep at the Avengers Guild for free, so it's currently, I'd say, about morning.
Cool.
That's what happens when you're a high-tier member of the Avengers Guild.
Once again, we begin the session. It's like it's morning in the inn. Many such days.
No,
Right. So I'm gonna get up and summon my familiar and Freya.
Alrighty. So your familiar bat kind of flies around for you. Freya will just crawl out from under a blanket somewhere and yawn.
It's morning.
Yeah, it is. She'll just fly over and crawl into your hat.
Today we're gonna go see the gnomes. We have to be very careful. Their security's real good.
I see. Do you want me to look for secrets?
Secret.
You just hear Freya nod to herself while sitting on your head, her hand on her chin. Alright then, secrets. I'll keep an eye out for secrets.
Right, we're at the Adventurers Guild. Let's find them.
Your bat will fly out to look for the gnomes.
As part of the morning prep, I'm gonna swap my fire rune for the cloud rune for today.
Alrighty.
For once, these are my other runes I never use.
I will have Eleanor make a roll for the morning. Just to see. She's good at this, I promise.
Is she trying to make potions?
Yeah. She gets a +7, but I always roll really bad with it.
This morning, it's alright.
Eleanor will basically just, as you are ready to leave, she'll just basically look around. Anyone want a healing potion?
I won't say no. Am I even there?
I mean, yeah, everyone's there in the morning.
Presumably.
Ooh. I want one.
Alright then, here you go, bub. And she'll hand it to you.
So I don't think I have any potions on me, so I'll take it.
Cool beans.
I see I have a potion of healing left, so I'm good.
You're a cleric. Like, I have some healing too, but it's better if I use other stuff. So.
Bub, meanwhile, Bub
cleric.
having bonus HP up the butt, and then also being able to sacrifice spell slots to second wind. I need it.
Yeah,
That's true.
To be fair, I am getting second wind soon too, so... Is that a level 2? No, it's level 1, right? Yeah.
Are you dipping into fighter?
Yeah, I've been said so for like months now, yeah.
Yeah.
Just three levels into Battlemaster. It's just
right.
Problem is, because of that, I won't get an ASI in for like a lot. So I'll have to find a way to pump up my wisdom in the meantime.
No, what you should do is go find a battle master and pay him to tutor you.
Oh, give me a level for free, man. Sure, man.
I mean, he won't give you levels, but you could get a ability from it.
Yeah, I mean, we're still on
Uh,
King's Landing. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but I want action surge as well,
So you just want to do everything.
No, he wants all the fighter stuff. So yeah.
I mean, it's the good ones, yeah. It's like I'm like, it's nothing says that I can't like cast a spell action, so I just cast another spell because it's
That's
technically
true.
two different actions. So
Yep.
Yeah, technically
that
true.
and like battle master stuff like gives me great utility in combat as well. So and out of combat if you use stashes. So
Yep. I mean, you kind of play your character kind of like a fighter, so it makes sense.
yeah.
For me, like I'm dumb if I multi-class. Like that level 20 capstone is just way too good for me to ignore it.
All in on Druid.
Like Moon Druid actually has one of the actually good capstones.
Like mine is at level 17, so that's why I'm like I can afford the dip. Yeah.
Cool.
So as y'all are chilling out in the tavern a little bit, Bub, your bat comes back,
Mm-hmm.
and it tells you that it saw the gnomes inside King's Landing proper. It dodged 3 arrows as it was leaving the walls.
The gnomes are here in King's Landing.
I presume they would be.
They're most likely at their store. There's still likely to be a few stragglers from the ball still willing to splurge, so it would make sense.
And
Just wanted to check.
that's fair. Well, we should probably get going and make sure that they're there when we arrive.
Let's
Sounds
go.
good.
Let's learn the gnome secrets.
Alright.
Away.
So the party gets up and heads out of the tavern, making their way back to the city itself to get to the gnomes. Since King's Landing has good roads and good infrastructure, it takes you only need like 2 or 3 hours to get from the edge of Gloucester over here over to King's Landing at this time of day. Thank goodness there's no storms.
Can always roll for one.
Oh,
King's Landing has fair weather almost all the time.
they got magic to take care of that.
They have divine weather. They have literally divine weather. They don't get bad weather in King's Landing.
That's a foreboding of bad times if they get bad weather.
Exactly. If there's a bad freeze in the winter in King's Landing, something's coming. They prepare.
Mhm.
Would be nice.
I know, Rendell doesn't have that.
Nor does anyone else really.
True.
Yeah. Look, man. When you have an entire nation that turns away from another entire nation, you're gonna run into some problems. Maybe a bit of ego here and there too.
Alrighty, as you guys make your way into King's Landing, the Templars let you in relatively easily, as you were just seeing a little just the other day. And as you make your way around, you see, you follow Eleanor to the gnomish business. And you see that they have, their shop seems to be rather bustling, and their walls seem to be basically almost out of goods. It's been an excellent business trip, Mixer. Indeed, Mentor. It was wise of us to stock up an Asterium before heading here. Aye, indeed. Ah! When a Mentor looks over at you, his pudgy belly kind of shaking as he turns around on a dime. Ah, guests! We have not seen you in some time. Look, Mentor. Ah, hello. Come in.
Thank thee. It has been some time since we've seen thee.
How have you been doing? We have heard that you made it to the ball. I would say that you had a good time.
Yes, all things considered. And yes, made our trip around the Savage Lands, came back, and were able to arrive at the bowl with some time to spare.
Most excellent. We were going to offer you something, however, we're afraid we'll have to procrastinate on said offer for now, as it would not do to offer such a thing while our stores are empty. Indeed, Mensa, indeed.
I see. Well, speaking of which, perhaps we can have a different sort of soiree. We wanted to come with you with a particular offer.
I see, we do enjoy offers, though we must admit that offers from you are to be taken with consideration.
Alright,
What is that? Bob
Delon
looks
raises
totally
an eyebrow.
confused. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Delon tilts his head in confusion. How so? Have we not been courteous in every interaction?
Oh, no. Do not take the wrong way. It is a sign of respect, really, to consider your offers suspect and worth analyzing more closely. After all, you have considerably haggled us down in the past.
Yes, I see.
Indeed,
Well.
indeed. Haggling is no good.
For you, perhaps. I enjoy the game of it, but I can see your issue with it. I assure you, this one is not one that we wish to haggle. In fact, perhaps, Eleanor, would you prefer to take it from here? You're more an expert in this than I.
Eleanor will nod. We're looking for a business arrangement that will allow you to assist us and us to assist you in the foreseeable future. We have been called shareholders in the gnomish businesses, correct? Indeed. Then perhaps we could enter into a more fruitful business deal. After all, King's Landing is about to fall upon tumultuous times, or so I've heard. Indeed, bad for business. We would be interested in perhaps finding ways to benefit one another. We could assist you, and you could assist us with future business ventures during these trying times for business.
Delon will politely speak up. With all due respect, we've been dancing around this subject back and forth for some time. And this is just a natural progression of something we've been trying to get into to display with you. Also, crit.
Yep.
Learn you, Eleanor.
Yeah.
Indeed. But we must ask, what sorts of arrangements would you like to benefit from us from? We of the Gnomish Merchant Guild will always profit, well, so long as we can still do business. As such, even though it will be bad for business. So much we hate the word. It would be very, very bad for business. We need to understand what exactly you wish to offer us and what you wish us to offer you as well.
I'll glance to Eleanor, kind of like, do you want me to take over, or you?
Eleanor will nod. I would like for the gnomes to give us perhaps financial aid in the with the understanding that we would be, of course, be willing to send the gnomes and free up more future business contracts as we're traveling for them. So the gnomes will give us some money as we travel so that it would assist us with continued travel and business in the future. Additionally, I might be willing to offer the gnomes a 10% share of profits that we make in other countries. An interesting offer, Mentor. Indeed, Mixer. Indeed. But how would you propose to travel in these upcoming times? Surely not by cart.
That's where you can come in. Additionally, Delon's actually going to display their recent official marking. This was given to us by the Regent. Are officially a neutral part of this. Our travel will not be dissuaded. We are officially not of any particular company. This allows us maneuverability where others cannot, even during the time of war, as we have not taken a side.
Menta, I believe that was the last guest, correct? Indeed, indeed. Shall I close up? Indeed, I think you should. You see as Mentor, with incredible speed, walks around, closes the windows, draws the curtains, and closes the door and locks it as well, before coming back over. Now we can just produce business privately, and more appropriately. Be more earnest.
Indeed.
In the corner, you just hear Tulio mumble while picking his nails with his knife. And earnest and gnome, that's rich.
That's how we can agree.
You hear Talina mumble. The gnomes are saying they're going to be earnest. This is going to be indeed a very important business arrangement.
One nods. Good. Let's keep putting the feet by the fire and see what happens.
Tell us, what is your opinion on war?
Personally, or professionally?
Personally. As
Personally,
if it is your personal belief, it will reflect professionally.
Personally, I wish war didn't have to be. I think it is a failure of communication and diplomacy. If we could have made arrangements, if we could have seen the forest for the trees, as it were, there would be no need for this kind of a conflict. I believe it's a failure of that form. But I also understand that there are people, individuals, who are cruel.
Hold on. OBS disconnected. Looks like it reconnected. Okay, try again. I heard the first half. As you were talking about, you hate war and you wish to avoid it.
Sure. I find war unnecessary. I despise it. I think it's a failure of communication and diplomacy. Otherwise, we should avoid it. But I understand that there are those who are evil or uncaring towards their people. And in those rare circumstances, conflict is possible and sometimes unavoidable. Although still, I wish it was avoidable on a grand scale and that it could be dealt with the individual. In all cases, I don't wish to see men die for causes of other men's confusion or greed or conflict. So, if at all best, I would have preferred a charitable end to this, but I don't think that's going to come to it soon. That's my personal feelings towards it.
I see. And what say you? And he points to Eleanor. My opinion on war is that it is a dirty business and one that should be avoided at most costs. However, war, when you are not the aggressor, is understandable if you have been aggressed upon. At that point, it is a defensive war, and you should be expected to take up arms to defend yourself. And you? And the gnome points to Yorm. Personally speaking, I think that war is just something that kind of happens, and war's gonna keep happening. Just make sure that you don't fight people bigger than you. Don't pick fights you can't win, you know? Haha. And you? Points to Talina. Oh, me? I think that war is where a lot of histories are made, where a lot of heroes are sworn in, as heroic deeds happen during war, but I also know great travesties happen during war. So I ultimately I think that war can provide certain measures of progress. However, I think that war should be a last resort. Diplomacy should be done first. You. And, points to snacks. Huh? Oh, we're good. Yeah, we're good. War make, people unworthy of being ruled, properly under rule, and generate economy, and, generate jobs.
What is the generation? I guess that's how it does
Get to
work with the
tunnel
Red
and
Dragon.
get to make things, and we get lots of stuff during war. So be good. Yeah.
War good. War good.
Goodness. What say you? And he points to Tulio. I will say that Ophelia is waiting outside the castle as well, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. She got somebody to watch over her, so she gets snatched up by some.
Good luck beating her. Like, Jesus,
She's
like,
just kind of staying in a tavern nearby. Don't worry. Y'all said
Oh, so
I'm
she
imagining
convinced
y'all
them
won't be
not
gone
to.
very long.
Yeah.
Tulio will just look up from his dagger for a moment and toss it around before catching it and pocketing it. War is for profiteers. If you can make a lot of money during war. War is where people carve out their fortunes. Noble titles, lands, all claimed during war. They're all spoils of war. That's the point of war. I'm neither for nor against it. Well, I'm for it if I can win, if I can get a lot out of it. But I'd prefer to cash out before the war is over. War is like a casino. Interesting perspective. Reminds me of someone. Indeed, indeed. And you. And he will point at Bub.
Oh. Well, you see, war is very natural. You have one tribe of chimps and another tribe of chimps, and they declare war on each other. And then whoever comes out on top gets to survive and reproduce to the next generation.
I see. And you? And he points to you, Gildas.
Oh boy.
Finally, the theological perspective.
Well, not so much theological, honestly. Because, well, anyway.
Hear the Rinaldian cleric's opinion on war.
Well, good that you asked me. Because, well, I am a smith. I make my living producing tools of war. I come from a land where war is the driving culture, the driving everything behind it. Every week, every month, I meet footmen, instructors, surgeons, perhaps even sometimes generals. In all my 3 decades on Kane, even though I've never participated in one personally, I've lived and breathed war. So, to be brutally honest, war is how I make money. Drives a business. Professionally, war is good for me. Now, personally, I think senseless war is completely and utterly stupid. And if I am in a position, as I've been in the past, Well, I can help mediate between two parties. Prevents such a meaningless war. Then of course I will come forward and do it. But I'm not against war. If I have to, I will go to war against somebody else. Regardless of my own faith, of na, na, na. I forgot my own train of thought. Simply put, if I feel threatened, I will not hesitate to exact, well, the right kind of retaliation, shall we say. Now, talking about my own faith, well, God neither for or against war. It's simply something that happens. We're here so that, at the very least, the amount of lives lost can be minimized, whether it be through armor we make, or simply through the healing we dispense. I hope this is satisfactory.
So then we have... Let us count. No, don't start. We have 1, 2, 3 for war. The 2 kobolds and our Nebly's friend. And we have 1 who sees war as simply something that is. Then we have 3 against war. Yet they understand war happens and will defend. So they are defensive warriors. Is this correct? Well, 4 really. Ah, yes. So then 3-4 war, 4 against, 1 neutral party. And most of you indicating diplomacy. Okay, you want to go out the door? Go out the door. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Go say hi.
The cat is
Bye,
not here
cat.
for this war.
No.
No, see, the cat jumps on the table and suddenly the Tarrasque shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And your traveling group, as neutral parties christened by the crown with this authority of autonomy. What is your end goal? What do you desire to do? Do you desire to avoid war? Do you desire to wage war? Or do you desire to negotiate?
Delon thinks about it for a while. He's actually quiet, actually. He's not going to say anything yet. So anyone else can speak up.
Oh. Considering what we're sticking out, suppose you could say, negotiate the end of the war, the end of a war.
Yeah, negotiate the end of a war so that we can get a bunch of knuckleheads to quit pointing sticks at each other, so that they can join together and point their sticks at the other guy. I wouldn't necessarily say sticks, but yes, I wish to perform diplomacy so that we might avoid a catastrophic continent-wide war. to bring the banners of peace again. Snax thinks that we should wage war. Yes, war good. Lots of kobolds happy during war. Quiet. But he asked. Julio will shrug, very non-committally. Up to the chief. If Chief wants to play diplomacy, I'll help. If Chief wants to wage a small personal war, I'll help.
Yeah, at this point, Delon will then speak up. The Black Dragon is coming whether we like it or not. That's the end. Doesn't matter what war is waged, doesn't matter who's fighting it. If we don't have the strength or the ability to lead a battalion of all countries against the Black Dragon, we're going to lose. This war is an unfortunate and an unnecessary conflict. If I can, I will do everything I can to go through diplomacy, to talk the Lord of Rendell down and let him see where this is leading him. In the end, I just want to clean up the mess left over by others. There's a blight, there's a black dragon, and there's a kingsglaive that needs to be found. Only by dealing with those three will we ever see the true peace that I think all men wish to see. It'll be my desire. And if there must be conflict in that end to do so, then I understand it. And I accept it. But I will do everything I can to discuss and try and reach those in conflict to bring peace until I can no longer do so. That's my feeling towards it.
I see. Interesting, very interesting. Well then, we of the Gnomish Merchant Company have understood and heard your proposition firmly and clearly. And we would like to offer a potential aid. However, you will have to meet with our senior operating chiefs of staff before we can truly and thoroughly come to terms with the arrangement. However, we, Mixer and Minter, chiefs operators of the mixing and minting divisions, would like to extend you our potential offer before you agree to potentially meet the rest of the chiefs of staff. Minter? Thank you. We of the Gnomish Merchant Company would like to potentially offer you access to gates to allow travel easier all throughout Canes, so that it might assist you in your duty for peace, as we of the Gnomish Merchant Company believe the Black Dragon to be quite possibly the end of Canes as we know it. He is the paramount definition of bad for business, and we agree with your belief to cease his operations. Additionally, we of the Merchant Company would like to potentially offer you a interest-free loan to assist in your financial endeavors. Does this interest you?
Very much. These gates you speak of. Perhaps I'm misunderstanding, but those almost sound like the fantasy stories of appearing in one place and appearing in another.
We did mention gates, yes.
Understanding correct, then.
We will not discuss too much further here. However, due to our prior engagements in the past, as well as your forthrightness and your good head on your shoulders for business, as well as your altruistic nature, your companionship for your fellow people of Canes, we would like to offer you this potential bargaining chip. If this deal interests you, simply inform us as such.
Puddle. I mean, I'm all for it. Give us a moment, please.
Of course. We shall go here. We'll leave you the storeroom here.
Thank you.
Let us pack our things, Mentor. Indeed, Mixer. And you see the two quickly waddle their way into the back room somewhere.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? I think this is a golden opportunity. I've never heard them mention anything like this to others.
Eleanor will think for a moment before nodding slowly. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. The gnomes are... if I understand correctly, they are offering to bankroll our operations with the understanding that we'd pay it back, but with no interest.
The no interest alone would easily be doable and understandable. That alone is unheard of in most business. There's always some sort of payment back in addition of such a type.
Well, I think that may be a good opportunity too. After all, we do that for the gnomes. No payback. That means when I end up having to deal with gnomes again, I'm back on the forge. I can just put like a little sign at the door that says, "Once God alone, that need to be paid back from the gnomes." Then they'll know who they're dealing with. Means I'll be position of power in the negotiation. Something I didn't have before. To, no bit gnomes.
I think this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I think you should take it.
Yorm will think for a moment. The gates sound like they're divine crystals.
Divine crystals?
Alright, well, I already mentioned them, so you just go looking in the books for them anyway.
He's right. He's not wrong.
The divine crystals are basically divine barriers created by the Upper Nine themselves, which blast the kingdom of Canes. Lords of the realms of Canes, namely Ranald, Lawcaster, King's Landing, Noble, and Mysterium, each have a crystal which allows them to instantaneously appear from one position to another. These crystals are linked together and also seem to provide some sort of divine barrier for protections. It's all hush-hush.
Indeed. The Unimind. Yeah, Delon will just say, well, it wasn't just fairy tales after all. No wonder the king could be from one place into another so quickly. It wasn't a very fast steed. It was using these gates. Then this is even more better boon. We could somehow utilize them if they allow us to do so. We could cut travel time in half.
Exactly.
And
between you and me, Delon, those gates are what allowed us the edge in most of the Dragon Wars. But the gnomes shouldn't have gates like that unless they have their own, but that would be weird. These are given exclusively to the Lords of Canes. They are the only ones who can use them.
See, That is intriguing. Well, then, in that case, in the case of historical understanding, I most definitely think we should agree, just to get the record straight. Don't you think so, Delina?
She nods empathically. Yes, I think this is an excellent idea. The only thing I'm worried about is the size of the loan that we would have to pay back. If we take too large of a loan or they give us too large of one, regardless of the interest rate, we would be incapable of paying it back, and they would essentially own us. So we should avoid that if that is potentially on the table.
Brings up a very good point. Perhaps that's the first question to ask then. We will accept, but only to see how much the loan would be offered.
Smart. Honestly, I was starting to worry whether you actually had a head on your shoulders. Delina just furrows her brow at him.
Get wrecked. So Bub's gonna say, I'm confused. Why are they giving us money when we haven't done anything?
That's legit. That's legit.
I agree with Bub. It's rather suspicious of them to give us a free handout before even we agree to do anything for them. They want us to meet their chief of operations. That sounds rather culty to me. And personally speaking, it sounds like they want us to do jobs for them before we agree.
They want us to do secret missions because we're the only ones who can do it. We gotta take advantage of this so we can get paid more money.
Snacks thinks that they are just giving us what is owed to us because we answered their question right, yeah?
So that is based in the
Yeah.
session. Crushing it.
Said in the Carl voice, that's perfect. You don't have to pay them back if you expel them out of Kane. Goddamn. Yeah, you know how Delon's basically agreeing with all these, and even the stipulations. So he's like, all things considered, though, this is an interest to all of us, though. We're all agreed, just how wish we wish to pursue this, correct?
Of course. I think that we should agree that we should take this business offer. Even if we don't get the loan, it at least opens up interactions more deeply with the gnomes, who are one of the most private and difficult merchant groups in all of Canes.
Indeed. And Hawkett would never forgive me if I had an opportunity to learn more about the gnomer's culture and didn't seize it. I'm in. All in. I agree with Delina, and you as well, Tulio. We should be very careful on how we proceed on this, and making sure that we don't get roped into a situation we cannot get ourselves out of. If there's anything you've taught me, never walk into the lion's den, even with the best of intentions.
Tulio will give you a nod. Glad you're learning something, Chief.
Pay attention, he says with a smile.
Yes, he pays attention. Snacks does.
I rub Snack's head.
Snacks will lean closer as you do. What are we talking about?
Talking about joining the guild or not. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Snacks will think about his next hunt instead. Much more
Yes,
entertaining idea.
Yes, we have to prepare for the brown dragon ball for the dragon horde. Let's get ready for that. So yeah, I guess since we're all in agreement, Delon's gonna shout out. Sir Mentor, Sir Mixer, I believe we're ready.
Ah, excellent! You hear from within as they come walking back out, and you see that they just have two small little burlap sacks, one in each of their hands, kind of a thing. Excellent! We have finished packing.
Where are you going?
Ah, well, if you've agreed, it is not where we are going, but where are we going?
Yes, we have decided to agree to this offer on a few stipulations. As we do not know the sum of the loan, we would be very careful as to take a loan, and regardless of the sum, we would be unable to pay it back in a timely fashion, and you would own us. We would like to avoid that as a neutral party, of course. Not that we would wish to see how much it would be, so that we could adjust accordingly. And what was the other thing? Game. What was the other thing? The loan and
They were offering a loan
was
and
the-
a potential access to what they called the gates.
gates. And what was the other concern by the cultist thing?
Tulio just mentioned that
His other
it's
worry.
kind of sketchy that they're offering this for free, and he thinks that the idea that the way that the gnomes act is kind of culty, especially with giving something
Right.
for free that would enamor you to them, kind of a thing.
Right. And he's like, and if this was a perchance to get an additional to your jobs, we would like to hold off on that until we've met with your council accordingly.
Of course,
so we can
of
all be in
course.
the up and up.
Of course, of course. You will, of course, be meeting the chiefs of our staffs shortly, now that you have agreed, of course. And that is when both the sum of the loan in question, as well as the approval of access to the gates, would also be mentioned.
Of course. Then on that consideration, we are in agreement then.
Excellent. Are you quite ready to leave?
Are we going?
Yes, we are going. We, of course, could wait a little bit, but we must remind you that time is money, my dear friends.
He's kind of like confused. Almost like gesturing for the door. I suppose if we're leaving Kane's, we should then hurry. He's going to reach for the door.
Indeed. Though, no need. We are indeed leaving Kane's. But we would not be taking the door. And you see as Mixer opens a brown burlap sack and gestures to the bag. Hop in!
Bub just looks at it and says, I thought people couldn't go through there.
Of course they cannot.
Ashley.
Usually, you would be scrambled, discombobulated, and failed to be put back together.
Honestly, I don't trust him, so I'm not rolling inside on that.
Inside.
Yeah, no.
Guidance.
Guidance.
Hold on, I'm just yeah, I'll do. Right.
Do I have insight? I have a little insight. I have a little insight.
Inside
as well.
go.
Guidance.
Guidance, so that's a D4, right?
Yeah.
I also rolled terribly. So I rolled a fuck. Oh shit! I
I
rolled
go
like,
to above 15.
I rolled a. Yeah, I rolled a.
I could use my cloud, but
Insight.
Should I roll?
actually, is guidance even allowed?
Oh, that's right. Are we?
I think you guys have.
So I have it.
I think you have a certain license. I think you bought a certain.
You know what? I'm gonna use
license, so I think it
inspiration.
would
No,
allow